Hey one and all. So in this video, I'm going to adjust the backlog plan for 2026. I've had some games that have been sold out of the collection and I'm adding some new ones. I do have some of them near me as well to show off. And we're going to go through the process of, what it looks like when I have an overall collection document in terms of deleting out old games, adding new ones, trying to estimate the length that it may take to beat them. Don't know if I'll come out about even on the amount of total time here because I did buy a couple games at least that are going to take me a bit of time. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. This first page on this document, like I normally start with, is the current year plan or what's active. Right now, I'm not planning anything past just the immediate things that I'm working on. So typically in the past, what I've done is I'll go from January. So you can see this column here starts with the month I'll start the game. And then over here, we have the month that I anticipate ending the game based on the estimated length of it, as well as the estimated hours that it may take on the short end if I kind of am able to move at a brisk pace. Again, these are estimated off of a few different sources that I'll go through when I do some of the new games in the collection. And then hours long is kind of at the longer end, what I think I might take in terms of playing the game. Again, these are all just estimates, and they're really there to help see, is it possible to beat the backlog collection or not, at least as it currently stands. So I have 4 games that I'm currently active on, but I have an update to make. So I just last week ended up beating Super Mario Galaxy finally. I have like a poster of this in my house. I've had it for many years and I never did beat it, but I finally got through it. I've got 107 stars. I'm going to get the final 13, so I'll put a few more hours probably into it to get those last few difficult ones. But man, what a great game. I absolutely adored it. It really makes you stretch your brain in terms of what, especially if you're accustomed to playing Mario for most of your life. It's a whole new experience, or a whole new way of experiencing Mario. I really loved Odyssey, but I'm kind of like, Odyssey doesn't seem a jump off of this to me. It's like a step to the side, and Wonder was a lot of fun. I think I'd like to see them revisit this sort of ability to move, to platform among, all these different spaces, kind of upside down and, to the left of the screen, right of the screen. I mean, it's so imaginative, so creative. I can totally understand why they ended up doing a second one, and I'm really looking forward to getting to that one someday. So, I'm leaving it on my playing for now because I am still, like I said, going to do those last few stars. Rad Racer is plugged up. I haven't touched it this year yet. Binding of Isaac, you have to do a certain number of kills at the end to get to kind of like the next phase of it. So I've done 10 of the 11 required to move to the next step. I think I've talked about this, but I'm playing it on normal. It's brutally hard to me on normal anyways. I do enjoy playing some tough games, but hey, if you're a Binding of Isaac enjoyer and you're listening to this video and you're like, hard is the way to go, I don't know what to tell you. It's just a bit too much for me. My goal is to beat what I can or to unlock and get certain endings. I think Mega Satan is the final boss that I've identified as potentially trying to get to, and I'll feel pretty happy with my accomplishments in that game. And so once I beat that, I may try and go and beat the game on hard, or at least do one loop through to get to Mom after that. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So I'm well over 60 hours on this. Again, like I've said in the past, these are all estimates. And if you're not familiar with the way that I've done these before, so this is kind of this actually says 2025. I can change this now to 2026 because that is the year we're in. And as you can see here, the playing means A is for active. So I have 4 games that are active. The length is kind of like an average, kind of like estimated length. This is a short, medium, or longer game, kind of estimated by hours. The system that I'm playing it on, that helps me know because I have different TVs set up around the house. I have a couple. I have one for like HD and a smaller one for like CRT, and then handheld. So it's like, what can I play kind of depending on the time of day, where I'm at. things like that. And then I've already discussed the hour short and hours long. The Amanda and Ellie tabs are for my wife and daughter. And so they are, if it's a game that we may play together. I am doing Breath of the Wild. I started that about a week or so ago as well, maybe a little bit longer. Not super far into that, but absolutely having a great time with it. It's, as somebody who grew up playing Ocarina of Time, loves the Zelda franchise, it's struck a big itch with me, and I've hey, look, it took me this long to get to it, but I'm really happy that I'm finally going through it. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the overall collection here. I had it filtered down to games that are digital PS1. Oops, undo that. Okay. Okay, go back to get the full collection. So again, if you're not familiar with this, the process that I typically do here, this is the name of the game that's left in the system, or that's left in the collection in the backlog. This is the system that I had the game for. This is, again, I've talked about hours short and hours long, but you're going to see how I kind of calculate that. If the game is like has a certain number of set stages, then I will typically put that there as well. So this is helpful. So like Altered Beast has 5 stages, so that lets you know like how far along you're progressing. Difficulty is just an average. I rate it 1 through 5 based on what people, this kind of plays into how long it may take you. 3 being an average difficulty, 5 being, very difficult, and 1 being like a very easy type of game, in terms of what you need to accomplish. And then genre is just kind of, if I want to play different types of games, I have different genres that I've put in here. Sometimes I'll go with the traditional or expected genre, but I might change it up every once in a while and put in a different, or kind of a genre that makes sense to me for how I might describe the game experience. And then if there's a multiplayer option, so the yes MP means there's a multiplayer aspect, and a yes FG means you can play a full game in multiplayer, so like a co-op experience. And then N is just for no. Actually, I didn't look this up, so I just noticed that I didn't write if the first Ape Escape game here, which I bought last year as a multiplayer. So just as simple, you can do, Reddit threads are always pretty helpful. There's a lot of, just do a simple search in a Reddit thread. Ideally, hopefully, I mean, especially if it's a number of years ago, it was written by a real human being. Nowadays, it's harder to tell, but so most people say, okay, there are mini games. Okay, I think the answer is no. Okay, that's a PSP version. You can always go to the Wikipedia page and see as well. Maybe just Control F for the word multi. No. Okay. I'm thinking this is not a multiplayer game, so I'm going to put that down as a no. Okay. So what happened to the collection at the beginning of the year? I wasn't anticipating it. I was definitely anticipating getting some games, but I decided that thing I wasn't anticipating doing was selling some. But I did opt to go ahead and do that. Look back through the collection at some games that I just either am just not going to play or I'm just no longer interested in. So I'm going to go ahead and go through them. Bravely Default, I ended up getting rid of, which is, again, a very long game, potentially. Look, I love RPGs. I love Square, but I played another game that I'm going to lead off of here, Final Fantasy IV Heroes, and I know that that's the predecessor to the Bravely Default series. So if you like that, you kind of, will enjoy the next ones. I thought the music in Final Fantasy IV Heroes of Light was really great, but I wasn't, it was a pretty fast-paced game, but I really wasn't feeling the gameplay loop in that one at the time. And the more I kind of got into it, I was just kind of like, I just don't have the energy for this. And when it came time to the beginning of the year, I thought, you know what, there are more RPGs that are more important to me. Um, I just don't think this is one that's going to happen, and there are other games that I'd rather add to the collection. So, unfortunately, I did sell Bravely Default, and I did also sell Final Fantasy, The Four Heroes of Light. I also sold another JRPG. Well, I realized in my research, I got it because it was a rare game at the time, but it's more of a dating sim with about 20 to 25% RPG action in terms of a strategy RPG with mechs, and that's Sakura Wars Along My Love on the Wii. Um, no shade if you enjoy these types of games, but I'm just not interested. I really wanted to play it because I thought it was like a mech style RPG, like I was thinking like a front mission type of thing with anime characters. I thought, oh, that could be interesting, but yeah, no, I ended up selling that one, so that is now gone. I sold 5 games in total, so make sure I can remember all of these. I sold Super Smash Brothers for the Wii U. Originally, I bought this game and um, I had it. We were able to play on a big TV with some friends. We were living together at the time, and we were playing the 8-player mode, and it was really cool. And then the TV busted. We never played it after that. I never played it since then. I know it has a story mode. It's, you know, there's a reason I ended up basically saying no to Smash for Wii U. I don't play Smash games in general, but obviously if you're gonna play a Smash game, I don't know that that's the one that you want to necessarily get through. So I deleted that out of the collection as well. And the last one that I sold was Tennis 2K2. I have loved Virtua Tennis is one of my favorite games on the Dreamcast since I was a kid, and I played it, since I was about 12, 13 years old and played it for the first time. Just such fun music, such fun, a fun arcade experience, and I know that Tennis 2K2 ups on basically all of it. But I'm probably going to replay Virtua Tennis 2 and try and beat it and get through it again, kind of do everything in it. And I don't know. I just kind of thought there are other games that are more of a priority or I'm more interested in than doing tennis. So I did also sell Tennis 2K2. For the sake of expediency, I will also be deleting these off of my Backloggery. If you haven't seen it before, this is my backloggery.com/SatanWasSanta. You can see my username there. And I don't think I deleted anything off of this as of yet. You can go to the history tab to see, but I will delete these later. So some games that already have gotten out of here: Split Fiction, Splatoon 3, and the Five Nights games, which were a Christmas present that I think my wife is more likely to play through than I am, so I'm probably going to more watch her do that, although I may end up playing it at some point, but right now that's not the plan. So I just double check. I think I did on my last update, I did put in Splatoon 3 and all that. Yeah. Okay, perfect. And Split Fiction. So one game you saw on there that I added to the collection this year is Undertale. So I finally went ahead and bought that on Steam, and I'll play that through on PC. And so let me go ahead and start there. So there's a few ways you could do this. I could add it to the bottom of the list and then sort alphabetically. But I like just going to where it's going to go in alphabetically and just going ahead and putting it in. So I'm going to put it in one row above. Right. So what I know about Undertale is that there are multiple playthroughs and you're kind of intended to play it multiple times. So I know that there aren't a certain number of stages. Difficulty, I'll put it at a 4. It is a turn-based RPG and there is no multiplayer, to my knowledge at least. So estimating the time on playing through Undertale is a little bit tricky because it's like, well, are you going to feel satisfied playing through one time? Do you want to go through, you know, playing through every possible ending or whatever. So I'm just going to take a look here. So first source, everybody uses this. It is very helpful, howlongtobeat.com. But as I've talked about in previous videos, I really think that as you learn about how you pace through games, especially different types of games, how do you play platformers, how do you play RPGs, sports games, whatever, racing games, what do you like to do in them, what do you like to accomplish in them, that's going to give you more of an idea of what you want to how long you might spend actually playing through these games. So I generally, when it comes to playing through RPGs, I like playing through the story. I don't do a lot of extra side content. However, I do know that replays in this game is highly encouraged, and the game's not super long. So it's not like playing through some 100-hour RPG and then doing a new game plus and getting a whole bunch of extra stuff. This is generally a short game. And so I've seen this about 20 hours. One thing that's helpful, these are estimates that are compiled from multiple users. So you can look at the reviews side of things. And then some people, will tell you, okay, here's somebody who played 20 hours, 30 hours. And so you can kind of get some estimates there. And then, okay, so 5 hours. Okay, so it's going to be pretty up and down, it looks like. So then a next great resource is to go ahead and go to to go to YouTube and look up a long play. Wonder if you can look up all endings. I don't know if somebody has done something like that. Okay, this is somebody speed running all 93 Undertale endings. Okay, I had no idea there were that many. And this is a part 1 and it's 9 hours. Walk through neutral, true, pacifist, genocide, harm. Okay, so this is somebody playing through 4 different modes in 11 hours. Okay, so and generally the thing to remember about people playing online through on their YouTube videos is that they're going to probably play through as quickly as they can, or they might be pretty competent about the game. That's why they're posting it, so they're not necessarily going to dawdle like you might do when you actually play it. Full playthrough, 100% all routes. Okay, so this is 12. Okay, so 20 hours is still kind of feeling right. And the last thing that I think is a good resource is just a good old, Google search. How long did it take to beat Undertale? You could skip some words there just to get a general search. So I don't really like looking at the AI overview. They do pull from, some websites, but look, here's a thread from 9 years ago in r/gaming. So somebody's saying I spent 8 hours getting a normal end, 4 hours figuring out how to get the true ending, so that's 12. 3 from okay. People talk about 9 hours, 7 hours. Okay. Game facts is also helpful. Sometimes there are threads where people will be asking that question. How long is the game? Is it replayable? One playthrough takes about 5 hours. There are 3 story paths. Okay. So I think that given all this information, it's fair for me to say, I think at the short end, maybe 15. Maybe if I dawdle, take a little bit longer. Some things are particularly difficult, maybe 25. So that's kind of how I end up estimating this, and what it all adds up to at the end, I will show off. But let's go ahead and add some of the other ones, as I did buy some new games. So funny enough, yes, I did sell some games that were longer, but there are other games that are also long that I have always known I'm not going to not play. So I did pick up Tears of the Kingdom, especially starting Breath of the Wild. I immediately knew, okay, this type of gameplay I'm definitely connecting with. Will I connect with and love this one as much? Time will tell, but I can't deny. I mean, I want to play every Zelda, before I go, and so now that I'm finally getting through Breath of the Wild, got my copy of Tears of the Kingdom here. So yeah, that was a pretty easy one to say. Okay, let me finally, bite the bullet and go ahead and get that here. So we'll add it on to the collection here. Tears of the Kingdom is on Switch. Okay, There are no specific levels. I don't know how difficult this one's supposed to be. I'm going to also give it a 4. I don't know if that's accurate. I'm just going to call it general 3D action adventure. No multiplayer to my knowledge. Yeah, it talks about number of players being 1. Okay, so I know this is quite a long one. I definitely anticipate probably 100 hours or so. But let's see what people say on how long to beat. Okay, yeah, some people complete. I'm not going to completionist this. I'm probably more in this range. Okay, about 60 hours just for the story alone. Take a look at some reviews. 224 hours. I mean, yeah, that's the kind of stuff that I've heard. 300 hours, 240, 85, 125. Yeah, it's quite long. So let me see if somebody just did. So look up either a playthrough or a long play is what I recommend. Okay, so this is 20 hours of somebody doing a full gameplay walkthrough. And here's somebody doing that in 85 hours. 100%, 127 hours. Whew, man. All right. I don't really think I need to do an additional Google search here, but yeah, this is somebody saying story 45 to 55 hours, 300 hours, with 10 of it being actual content, and the rest is walking around looking, doing nothing. I mean, I love Death Stranding, like it says here, so I'm not really worried about that. I guess somebody didn't like the game. Okay, yeah, I think a fair time frame here. This is probably going to end up being one of the long games. I'm going to go 1 to 120. It's a very high end estimate. I think it might end up being the longest game that I have added on here, but I think it's about the fairest thing that I can say. And we'll move on next. Okay, so I did say I sold Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, but that's because I got Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Always knew I wanted to get a copy of this, and here it is. Look, I loved original on N64. I played it as a kid. I love Melee. Have had that for quite some time. If there's another Smash Bros. Game that I'm going to get through, I'm going to collect the characters. I'm going to, try and get as, not necessarily get good, but, go through adventure mode and all this stuff. This is going to be the one. Brawl looks cool, and, Smash for Wii U looked cool, but they're all big time sinks. This is quite a big one as well. Plus, I really thought, especially for my daughter, this would be a great one for her to be able to check out as well. And in fact, we booted it up yesterday, and she was having a great time, playing as Kirby and Pikachu and stuff. So it was a pretty easy one that I knew I was always going to get. So this one doesn't have stages per se. Difficulty. I'm not a great fighting game player. I'm going to go a 4 because it's probably... So yes, this is definitely a multiplayer game. People are going to have quite a variety of experience here. So I'm just going to pull it up here. Ultimate. Okay. So most people say to get through the story, 24. Okay, 50. Completion is 76 hours. Take a look at some reviews. I mean, yeah, people are going to play this game. 870 hours, 385. Yeah. Okay. I think your time is going to vary here depending on how much you like these games. Let's see if I can find a story long play. I didn't look up Ultimate specifically. Okay, this is somebody playing through the World of Light. 15 hours, 13 hours, 20 hours. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm good without Google searching. I think this is the type of game that I will probably get through the adventure mode, probably play through a good chunk. I could see this being like 60 to 80 range. I think that's what I'm going to put for now. A little bit more content than a Melee. Well, quite a bit more content than a Melee, to be fair. Oh, I didn't spell ultimate right. Maybe it will be longer. Yeah, I'm gonna hedge my bets here. I'm gonna go 80 to 100. I think that's probably the fairest thing to say at this stage. All right, next is one that actually I do have to put this on the bottom. I bought originally the PS2 version of this and had a lot of difficulty with it running on my PS2, and I finally found out there's a PS3 version, but it's a collection of 2 games, and the second game has some issues, but there's a patch on PS3 that will apparently fix it. I'm hoping that's the case, and that is the Zone of the Enders HD collection. I bought multiple copies, I think 2, maybe even 3 of the first one, and it would freeze up after this first like significant battle you would get in, and it happened with both discs. I have a PS2 Slim. Don't know what the deal is there, but anyway, this has both the Zone of the Enders games, so it has Zone of the Enders. This is on PS3, and then what's the? Oh, I'm gonna have to move this stuff down. We'll talk about this stuff in just a few. And then Zone of the Enders. I'm gonna have to change this back to. Okay, what's it called? We'll go ahead and look this one up. I know these are fairly, story-centered ones. The Second Runner, that's what it's called. So the Enders. Okay. And that's also PS3. Okay. I'm just going to say 3 for difficulty here. These are, I'm just going to put them as 3D action adventures. Generally, I don't believe they have any multiplayer component to them, but I will double check here. Oh, dog's barking. All right. Double check on the disc here. It does say 1 to 2 players. Maybe there's a multiplayer aspect to it. Let's do a quick search. Does Zone of the Enders have multiplayer? Have local couch-based versus mode for 2 players unlocked after completing a single player campaign. Okay, so it does have a multiplayer aspect. Oh, this is actually somebody talking about the collection. I'm curious to know. Oh, wow. I actually missed this. This is somebody asking, can you still download the patch to fix it? This is a month ago. Well, nobody responded, but I'm going to find out soon. I guess it doesn't. I don't like going through the AI thing. I really just don't know. Zone of the Enders, multiplayer 2, local multiplayer. Okay, this says it does have multiplayer. Does the Second Runner also have some multiplayer? Okay. I'm assuming, all right, I'm going to say that it does for the purpose of the video. All right, let's actually get to the bottom of some length here. So I do know these are generally shorter games. So this has 8 hours probably. Okay, maybe some things get difficult, takes you some time. 5.5 hours, 5 hours, 10 hours. All right, let's look up. I'm going to do both games at the same time. Four hours, 3.5. Well, there's the second game, 5 hours. Okay, people say this is quite short. Let's see, Second Runner. 5 hours, 4.5. Okay, so second one looks like a little bit longer. Okay. So I like estimating a little bit longer. Oh, it did say multiple endings. That is a good thing to know in case you do want to do. So you can always look up if there are multiple endings. Maybe you'll want to play through, especially for shorter games. Original has 2 primary endings tied to player performance. This actually talks about it. I don't know. Okay. All right, so that does say there is a slight alternate ending, but I don't know that it's that specifically desirable. So I'm going to go 10 to 15 on the first one. I like to estimate on the longer side just in case it takes me a little longer, and 15 to 20 on second runner. And the last game, another bit of a long one. So I deleted out some long games, then added back in some long games. So I'm probably overall about the same time frame. Is I picked up Cyberpunk 2077 on PS5. I was not really about this game when it came out. Not particularly interested. I love the Witcher games, 1, 2, and 3. I've beaten all 3 of them and adore them. But Cyberpunk, I never played the old school RPG, the pen and paper, which is what this is based off of, or the kind of the inspiration for it, I should say. But I do think they're very good developers. Obviously, there's a lot of controversy with CD Projekt Red with they're rushing this out. But I talked to 2 friends that I trust quite a bit who have played through it and absolutely adored the game and said very playable on PS5, a lot of fun. Any issues that were there have basically been gone at this point. So I said, you know what? It's a good company. I really like their games. I'm super excited for Witcher 4. And this comes with the expansion pack, which I'll probably play through as well. So, you know what? Let's do it. So this is Cyberpunk 2077, and this is what's called Ultimate Edition, I guess. PS5. Okay. Now, I know this one is going to vary. I know there are different endings that you can get in this one as well. I probably will just play for one ending, most likely. Okay. I guess I'll look at Ultimate because it includes the DLC, right? 127 hours. I mean, yeah, I figure it's going to be a 100-hour plus game. I don't know if I'll play it that long, though. Yeah, because I do know that the story can be quite short if you're not that into the game, or you're kind of, cool with the game, but okay, there's somebody says it's still disappointing. They played on Switch too. Let's look up Cyberpunk 2077 story. Okay, 22 hours, 17 hours playing through the story. I actually think I'm going to go a little shorter. I can definitely imagine myself playing this a little, kind of playing through. Actually, how many endings? 7 main endings. Okay. Plus the DLC. Yeah, I'll probably go 80 to 100. So I'm going to go first person action adventure. Just whatever way I would describe this particular game. So, all right, so everything's added into the collection, delete out prior. Now, the reason that I put all these hours short and hours long are, if you haven't seen these videos before, is all the way at the bottom. I have this section that adds up, and actually now I need to have it include up to 383. All up adds up the entire column. So these are the total number of estimated hours left to beat what's in the collection. And then I estimate that I average, this is varied over the years, but about 2 hours hours a day playing games. And so this is divided by 2 and then divided further by 365, the number of years to potentially beat this. So 16 and 22. I think it's floated about there for the past few years. I'd have to look at the older videos and see to be 100% sure. But yeah, will I be able to do it? Who knows? I'm okay if it doesn't happen, but just kind of keeps lets me know like what's out there, what's realistic. These other stats, the number of games I have that are over 100, the number of are in the teens and the 20s, etc. I'll look at that later on my own. These are the average hours short and average hours long for the overall collection, so I'll do that later as well. But the last thing I'm going to do before I close out the video is go ahead to my beat games and add Mario Galaxy because I have beaten it. So Super Mario Galaxy, originally released on, or played on the Wii U, released on the Wii, and I don't know what day that I beat it. 4 days ago, so on the 16th. Boom, first game beaten of the year. So I think I'm going to end it right there. Talked about everything that I deleted out. There are other things, I've got to add these back into Backloggery as well. I've got to adjust these overall numbers here for, just my own curiosity. But overall, I think the video has been long enough. You've got a good sense of what it's like to add games to the collection. I've shown off the games that I added to the collection and what I took off. So, yeah, really appreciate you watching through. If you did stick through this whole video, thanks for your time. Take care. Good luck in 2026 to all the gamers out there. Have fun.